Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. All right guys, I'm back and I'm here with my furry feline friend, Xander. It is Saturday, May 2nd, and it is 9:17 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope everyone is doing well. What is on tap tonight? 2 videos covering all of the Q posts, and there are numerous posts. I mean, a boatload. All right, so let's jump into it and get going here. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to split this into 2 videos because there are so many posts. I thought I was going to have a hard time just catching up with yesterday's, and then I got a look at today's. But I think, you know, if we get at it now, I think we can get them all done tonight and get all caught up to date, because something tells me that Q's going to be posting a lot lately. Okay, let's get into it then. And I do have some people to thank, and I'm going to thank them real quick at the end of this video, the first video. And then while I'm uploading this, I'll be working on the second video. I forgot to clean my glasses. I hope you can't see how dirty they are. All right. Okay, let's get going here. This is the first one from the 30th of April. Then we're going to jump right into the ones from yesterday and finish those. And once we are finished those, hopefully I can get through it in one video. If not, I may have to do 3 videos tonight, but I'm just going to keep going. It's 9:18, so I'll just keep going for a length of time and split off and do another video till we're finished. Okay, so this is the first one we're going to cover tonight. And it's 4010, Proclamation on Law Day, USA 2020. Now, we come down here, and it says, now therefore, I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, in accordance with Public Law 87-20, as amended, do hereby proclaim May 1st, 2020, as Law Day, USA. I urge all Americans, including government officials, to observe this day by reflecting upon the importance of the rule of law in our nation and displaying the flag of the United States in support of this national observance. And I especially urge the legal profession, the press, and the radio, television, and media industries to promote and to participate in the observance of this day. Now, so that is that. He created Law Day. Now, I'm a little bit not sure whether this is something that is going to be done every year or if it was just this once. I would assume going forward that this will be a thing. But let me know what you believe, what you guys think. And I do see that I missed this. So I think what this is, though, this link is just, again, reiterating this, what we have just read. So let's go on to the next one. And I guess that is the 30th of April as well. So we do have a couple to get caught up on from the 30th of April, but we will just take them as they come. The next one, 4011, is calm before the storm. And we have a link to a Twitter account, and it is this right here. I've clipped this out for us to save a little bit of time. And let's look at this. It's by Benjamin Weingarten. Per New Flynn document, dump, one wonders who was Crossfire Typhoon. Interesting. And of course, we have some things that are redacted here a lot, but we've got Crossfire Typhoon here, Crossfire Razor, Crosswind, and yeah, so it's interesting. And this person is asking, this is from Strzok, and it's to Bill Presap. So this looks like a memo or an email, and was sent. And interesting. Who were these code names for people or what? Well, I think we're going to find out. Anyway, we're going to come up here And Q says, crossfire hurricane, crossfire typhoon, crosswind, classified 1 to 99, unreleased, redacted. You didn't think the statement by POTUS regarding calm before the storm was just random, did you? Transparency brings accountability. Q. Now, what is interesting about this is another example of future proves past, because now we are finding out, and it's news to me, I'm sure it's news to you, that this is the reason why the whole thing about the storm came up. Remember when they were all, he had a lot of the military generals in the White House, and they were standing having their picture taken, and he said, do you know what this is? And he looks around and he says, it's the calm before the storm. What storm, Mr. President? What storm? You'll find out. That's exactly what he said. And we all thought, oh, okay, well, we knew it had something to do with Q, I guess, at that point, because I believe at that point Q had already begun posting, but we didn't know that it had to do with all of this: crossfire hurricane, crossfire typhoon, crosswind. What does all that describe? A storm. Ah, not the storm they were thinking about, though, is it? No, POTUS caused a storm of a completely different kind to take place, and we like that storm. Absolutely. This was the storm to take down a duly elected sitting president who had done nothing wrong. All right, so I'm going to read this from Dio Presso Liber, SunQ2 on Twitter. Great person to follow, very knowledgeable. When POTUS said we were in the calm before the storm, he was signaling that he knew about crossfire hurricane, crossfire typhoon, etc. Finally, more documents being declassified to give us a bigger picture of how many operations Deep State had against POTUS. Coup attempt. I think the names Crossfire Typhoon and Crossfire Razor are bigger than just one person. I think they may reference operations involving other intelligence agencies from other countries. Typhoon makes me think of Asia, for instance. In other words, whereas Crossfire Hurricane relates to MI6 and the UK Deep State helping the US Deep State frame POTUS, Crossfire Typhoon may have related to an intel agency out of Asia, such as Australia, trying to help the Deep State frame Trump. And we know that there were many other countries involved in trying to frame Trump, including Canada, by the way. You cannot trust the person that is in power in Canada, not on your life. Can you trust him? He has just ruled against, I guess it's 500 makes of guns or something here because of the false flag. I mean, the mass shooting in Nova Scotia. Now, of course, yes, I'm not doubting that people died. Not doubting that at all. When someone says FF, doesn't always mean that everything's fake. Oh yeah, it happened, but. All right, well, let's go on. Try not to get pulled off course here. So much to talk about. All right, and now we are on drop 4012. 4012, still on the 30th of April. I guess I had more to cover that day than I thought. All right, and this, we're gonna need a much bigger meme once this is finished. Oh, are we ever? What does he mean by that? Well, remember the meme says American coup d'etat, and look at all these people. It says when this is finished, a much bigger graphic will be needed, much bigger. Biggest political scandal in American history, Q. And I do believe this is going to be one for the history books, no doubt in my mind at all. Let's hope that it gets told correctly, because a lot of times history doesn't get told correctly because the victors are the ones that write it. So here by Lisa Mae Crowley, she says we're going to need a bigger meme and bigger Gitmo. Absolutely. That's why they've been working so hard on expanding it. And we do have aerial photos proving that they have been expanding it. Once you add DNC, media operatives, big staff, co-conspirators, member of the intel apparatus, State Department, Hussein White House staff, foreign allies, Five Eyes, etc., it's going to be massive. Oh, yes, it is. Much, much bigger meme. In fact, I don't think you'll be able to fit them all on one meme. And if you do, I don't think anybody's going to be able to see it unless it's a huge poster. All right. I don't think that any of us realized how much corruption there really was. I think we tend to think that people are like us. That is kind of a weakness of all of us. I think we assume that people are like us. That is why when husbands are cheating, a lot of times they'll, accuse their wife of cheating because that's what's in their heart. And a lot of times when, you hear about all this, if you are a good person who loves your family, loves God, or what have you, abides by the law, pays your taxes, you hear about these things and you go, what? Because it's not in your heart to do those things. So yeah, it's surprising to me how much corruption there was. I knew there was corruption. There's always corruption, but not like this. Okay, now we are on drop 4013, still on April 30th. And this one, how come Democrats/liberals aren't coming to the defense of Tara Reade? Tara Reade, of course, being the lady who has accused Joe Biden when she was working as part of his staff. This was, I think, 27 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, and she did make a complaint at the time, and her mother phoned into Larry King Live as well. She told friends, she also told her brother, she told her mother, obviously, not like the situation with Tudor Ford, where nobody seemed to know. She had never mentioned it. She'd never mentioned it to anybody else. And her friends even claimed that the friends that she claimed were there said, no, that didn't happen. So, and there was so many holes in her story. I mean, really, it was worse than Swiss cheese. Really, it was like a colander. There's just so many holes in it. Nothing would hold up. Nothing would just run right through. So we know why the liberals aren't coming to the defense of Tara Reade, because Tara Reade is accusing Joe Biden, who is one of theirs. But the interesting thing is, Tara Reade is not a Republican, as you would expect her to be, because a lot of people would then point and say, oh, yeah, well, yeah, naturally, she's a Republican, so she's just accusing him now. No, it wasn't the situation as it was with Tudor Ford. She was a diehard Democrat. I'm going to sneeze here in a second, so excuse me. Whew. I hope you're all wearing your masks so you didn't get any of that on you. Anyway, so over here we have, and this is Nancy Pelosi. I applaud the courage of, and here, okay, someone has taken the words of Nancy Pelosi and crossed it out to put in Tara Reade. I applaud the courage of Dr. Christine Blasey Ford. I'm going to read it the way it is first. I applaud the courage of Dr. Christine Blasey Ford to come forward to share her story. As we continue to learn more about these allegations against Judge Kavanaugh, we must ensure that Dr. Ford's rights to justice and privacy are respected. But let's change it. I applaud the courage of Tara Reade to come forward to share her story. As we continue to learn more about these allegations against Joe Biden, we must ensure Reade's rights to justice and privacy are respected. Yeah, said Nancy Pelosi, never. That she would never say that. That's not what she said at all. In fact, her words were, and I quote, well, Joe Biden is Joe Biden. Okay. Yep, that's profound, Nancy. Really profound. Anyway, down below, Q has said, used as a political tool to attack the other side, weaponized. Where are the pink hats? when you are awake, you are able to see clearly. Yes, why aren't there pink hats and women, you know, the, what is that, Me Too movement, the Me Too movement, where are all they? Why hasn't anybody, you know, kind of rallied around her and supported her? Nobody has. So, yeah, and I was surprised to see that the media is coming around. So, a little bit anyway, at least Fox is. So, this by Lisa Mae Crowley. Since Reid worked for Biden, is she still a Dem? Accusations sound credible, but timing makes me wonder if interested by them to hurt Biden to enable a new candidate, Hillary Rodham Clinton, to step in. Or is she weaponized by white hats to highlight Dem double standards? No pink hat protests. Yeah, and that's definitely two ways you can look at it. Now, I don't think that the Dems have brought her, you know, to so that Hillary Clinton can now be a candidate, because I think that probably they would try to get him in the White House and then say he's not fit and have him removed and have Hillary take his place, because I do believe that Hillary's going to be his running mate. That's what I think. Nobody knows for sure until it happens, of course, but that is what I think is shaping up to happen. And this by Dio Presso Lieber, Sun Q2 on Twitter. He says, projection is the name of the game. Why are the pink hat freaks not marching to support Tara Reid in her accusation against Joe Biden? We know why. They are political pawns used as tools by the Dems to destroy lives and cast a narrative. And that's exactly right. It's exactly right. Now, I don't know if Tara Reid is telling the truth or not. I happen to think she's a whole lot more credible because she knows when it happened. She knows exactly how it happened. She knows all the details. She has all the details. She told people that it happened. She reported it. She did all the right things. So I am much more apt to believe her. She sounds credible. And notice that she didn't say, oh, now I was under the misunderstanding that he had raped her. He did not. What he did was he pushed her up against something and put his hands up her shirt or down her pants and digitally penetrated her. So really, that's more credible, because she could have said, oh, he raped me, right? That would have been worse. But she didn't. She said exactly what happened. So again, that makes it sound more credible to me. I happen to believe her, and will until there's evidence to the contrary. I think she needs to be believed like all the other women, right? Now, let's go on to the next, and this is drop 4014, and this is from the 30th of April as well. I must have missed a pile from that day. So it says, why has the Democratic National Convention been pushed back a month to mid-August? Well, that's a good question. I'm sorry I have to keep drinking because my throat gets so dry and then I can't talk anymore. And I've got a lot of talking left to do tonight. So let's look at this. We've got a link here that we're going to be examining. In fact, maybe we should examine that first. Well, gosh darn it. I didn't bring out that link. So hang on here. That is post 4014. Hang on one second here. I'm going to go out to the keyboard and we're going to grab that because I didn't grab the link from that. So many posts. 4014, did I say? Look at how far we have to go. 4017. Let me see here. I'm sorry that I'm 4014, yeah. Look at that. Hang on. We even have to go back a page. Whew, okay. Here we go. Let's go take a look at this. Democratic National Convention pushed back a month to mid-August. This by Washington Examiner. And Democrats have moved their convention to start August 17th as the CV pandemic threatens to plague the country until the summer. The 2020 Democratic National Convention was originally scheduled to take place in Milwaukee from July 13th to 16th. Still set to be held in Wisconsin, the new August date falls 1 week before the Republican National Convention, which will be hosted in Charlotte, North Carolina from August 24th to 27th. But Joe Salmoness, CEO of the DNC committee, indicated on Thursday the shifted timeline won't be the only difference between the 2020 convention and previous iterations. In our current climate of uncertainty, we believe the smartest approach is to take additional time to monitor how the situation unfolds so we can best position our party for a safe and successful convention. Salmoness wrote in a statement, during this critical time when the scope and scale of the pandemic and its impact remain unknown, we will continue to monitor the situation and follow the advice of healthcare professionals and emergency responders. Possible modifications include adjusting the convention's format to crowd size and schedule, the DNC added. Presumptive 2020 Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden hinted late Wednesday a change was imminent. I doubt whether the Democratic convention is going to be able to be held in mid-July, early July. I think it's going to have to move into August. The two-term vice president told NBC's The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon, "We just have to be prepared for the alternative." The convention was put in doubt after the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games was pushed back 1 year until the summer of 2021 because of the COVID-19 outbreak. The party had initially scheduled its convention around the sporting event. Now, to me, they're trying to make a case that the elections are not safe. It's not safe for people to go to the polling stations. So I'm just wondering if that's why they're pushing this ahead. I'm not sure, but let's go back and see what Q has to say here. And where are we? Right here. Why are they pushing back the Democrat convention? COVID-19 concern or strategic for last-minute change? Okay, I hadn't thought of that, but that is actually... And, you know, when Q asks a question, it's never really a question. That's his way of talking. That's his way of teaching, the Socratic method. COVID-19 concern or strategic for last-minute change. Well, that, I believe, is the real reason. They're going to be making a change. I don't know what that change is, but my guess is it involves either Hillary Clinton or Michelle Obama. That's my guess. Change of batter coming? Oh, yes. You don't think Joe can bring it home, do you? I don't. I think that they want him to. I just don't know if he's going to make it because really it's getting, I mean, he's just not able to be on camera at all. You just never know what he's going to say or do. He was kind of a deer in the headlights when they slapped him with the asking about the charges, even though he had a heads up. So why was she saved from officially announcing? Why was she reserved for a last-minute change? How do you attempt to sneak one in? How do you attempt to ensure victory? Adopt national vote by mail? That's exactly what they're trying to do. They are trying to steal this next election. And if they win, it will have been stolen. And we know that. We know that. Not any of those people could fill a stadium. Not one of those people. Not one Democrat in the United States of America could fill a stadium. And yet, everywhere Trump goes, the stadiums are full. Except now with this COVID fiasco, you know, he can't have his rallies. But yeah, and they want us to believe that, you know, that you know, the Democrats are ahead of Trump in the polls. I don't think so. Give me a break. Anyway, how do you convince America it was legitimate? Release fake polls indicating favorable leads in swing states. How do you harm opponents' accomplishments regarding economy, unemployment. That's what they're doing with this whole COVID thing. Because what is Trump? You know, when you think of Trump, you think of great economy, great unemployment, the country's doing well, everybody that wants a job pretty much has a job. I mean, not now, but before all this happened, certainly. How do you terminate opponents' highly effective rallies? Well, just like they've done, right? Because he can't have them now. You know, really, if he tried to have a rally now, you know the country would go crazy, crazy. And then you'd see in the news constantly about how the numbers were rising and it's Trump's fault and blah, blah, blah. How do you shelter Democrat lead candidate from embarrassing debates and or rallies? Well, I guess if you stick her in there at the last minute, then she's pretty much sheltered from all that, isn't she? You know, there's nobody that can go up against Trump in a debate. No one. I don't know of anyone. Do you? Really? All right. How do you shelter Democrat corruptions regarding FISA, Russia, Flynn, etc. from reaching the mainstream? Now, you know, if they had regular debates and Hillary was in there, you know that Trump would bring up all of that stuff again. How do you extend, not again, because he never brought it up in the first time, because, I mean, that was prior to Q and all that, but still. How do you extend the trade negotiation deadline with China? How do you limit or test constitutional rights of people? And that's exactly what they're doing. They're pushing to see how much people will take. And I think people are about to snap. They are about to snap. I think they've had enough of being told that they can't even sit out in their own yards, or they can't sit on a beach. Are you kidding me? I mean, now things are opening back up again, and the one parent that was in trouble for letting her child play at another child's house, I mean, give me a break. How do you effectively control, okay, wait, I think I've missed one. How do you test the constitutional rights of people? Well, they're doing it now. How do you provide cover for state governments to adopt new voter laws? Exactly. How do you effectively control the population? Well, you tell them that there's a big bad something outside and they better stay at home and they better not leave their house unless it's for groceries or something absolutely dreadfully necessary. How do you expand big tech overreach regarding tracing privacy issues? Yeah, that's the other thing. You saw Bill Clinton on there wanting to do contact tracing on everyone. How do you fix taxpayer bailout, the long broken economies of California and New York? Yeah, and it's gotten that way from years of Democrat leadership, right? And I don't know how California is ever going to be fixed, really. New York is another issue, but California, oh my gosh, it's a cesspool. And don't think that I am disparaging on the Californians, because there are many, many good people in California that are just victims of a very bad system. And their jobs are there, their families are there, what have you, and they're stuck there. They don't want to be there any more than anybody else, but so yeah, it's just not easy. How do you enrich select people, companies, by promoting a solution to a global crisis? Well, yeah, I mean, we're seeing companies that really were nothing before this this pandemic, and look at all the companies that seem to be benefiting from it, like Walmart, all the big corporate. And who are the ones that are losing? It's the little mom and pop places that are out of business and will probably never be back in business. You know, little tiny restaurants, and they're saying, oh, you can open up at 25 capacity or whatever. Oh, come on. I used to manage restaurants and I know that world very, very well. You cannot make payroll and buy all the product that you need for that week and everything at 25 or 30% capacity. It can't be done. So they are literally putting these little restaurants, these mom and pop places, out of business, and they're making Walmart an even bigger giant, and Target and all these big big stores that are allowed to stay open. Yeah. Anyway, how do you keep people living in fear and isolation in order to accept the above? Define insurgency. How do you accomplish all of the above? And remember, it's infiltration that they're doing. It's not, this is a new type of warfare. It is psychological in nature. It's asymmetrical warfare or nonlinear warfare, whatever you want to call it. It is not the usual. Usually countries would, it's very different now. All right, so this Dio Presso Liber, the simple answer to all these rhetorical questions Q asks, initiate a pandemic, CV, and use all assets to squeeze the most panic out of it, which is what they've done. Why are they pushing back the D convention? A new candidate coming, she, Hillary, or Mishel. So obviously Dio Presso Liber feels, as I do, that it's either Hillary or Mishel. Coronavirus lockdown giving Dems an excuse to push back DNC convention to make a last-minute substitution of candidates, justify mail-in ballots, easy to initiate election fraud, prevent FISA abuse and Flynn abuse from going mainstream due to talk about virus, justify extending trade negotiation deadline with China, allow tech to implement freedom of speech controls, allow Dems governors to implement socialist laws, bail out California and New York from bankruptcy with federal funding for CV. And that's what they've done. Now, we're moving on here. Again, we are only on the 30th of April. My gosh, I'm going to be here all night doing these. I might have to stop it after April and then make May into a separate one, and then May 1st and then May 2nd, because whoo, we got a lot of posts. Q's been a busy boy. I know, we don't know that Q is a boy. It's probably a team of people. It's he, she, they, it. He, she, it, they, them. All right, 4015, D's and big tech doing everything possible to control the COVID-19 narrative. Boy, are they ever. Now, let's look at this. This Q Research Notables said YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki says anything that goes against the WHO is a violation of YouTube policies. All content that isn't medically substantiated, such as advising people to take vitamin C, will be removed by the platform. Now, I had a video removed. In it, I was talking about the virus. I'm not exactly sure what I said, but they removed the video. So, yeah, they really do mean it. And then we have this letter from Adam Schiff. And let me see. It says misinformation. This Adam Schiff. Yeah. It does call for a collective eye roll here. Misinformation is dangerous. Misinformation about public health is deadly. I sent a letter to the CEO of Google, YouTube, and Twitter, urging them to proactively inform users when they've interacted with medical misinformation. Oh, well, thank you, Adam Schiff. Thank you. Thank you so much. We need you to hold our hands and tell us what's acceptable. They can help save lives. Yeah. And let me see here. This is, here's a good reminder of Schiff's lies in the House impeachment hearing. Watch Adam Schiff claim to be using parody to fabricate lies about Donald Trump. This guy is sick. Schiff apparently thinks he's a comedian rather than a chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. And I don't think it's necessary to play that because we've all heard it. We've all heard it. We know what he did. Remember the phone call to Ukraine? And he just made it up. And Trump released the transcript and everything. And he says, oh, well, I was paraphrasing. No, you weren't. And why did you need to paraphrase? Why would you have needed to paraphrase? Just craziness. All right, head of House Intelligence Committee Adam Schiff demands Google, YouTube, Twitter step up their authoritative censoring and silencing. On Thursday, Representative Adam Schiff, the most dishonest and compulsive liar in Congress, sent a letter to the CEO of Google, YouTube, and Twitter to urge them to use their authoritative powers to censor and silence voices during the coronavirus pandemic. Thank you for saving us, Schiff. Last week, YouTube CEO told CNN the company would silence anyone who strayed from official WHO policy. Google is cool with that. In fact, the company is very proud of her censorship. Remember this in November. Democrats support this and want more censorship and silencing. Schiff sent these letters off to Google, YouTube, and Twitter. All right, and we've got another link here that we're going to go out to presently. And beneath that, Q has said control of the population. Sheep, control of the narrative. Now, he's asking that as questions, but they're not questions. That is exactly why they're doing that. They want to control the population. They want to control the narrative. And I mean control the population as in what they're doing and so forth. However, they do want to lower the population as well. And I think we're all aware of that. Now, let's look at this before we go on to that link, YouTube deleting videos that don't align with WHO policies, globalist narrative. Schiff sent memo to CEOs of Google, YouTube, and Twitter, pushing them to censor misinformation. They are desperate to keep people asleep. Too bad for them. Most are waking up. And that was Lisa Mae Crowley, and the following is Dio Presso Liber, or Sun Q2. Google, deep state trying to control narrative. Any videos posted on YouTube going against the deep state narrative pertaining to CV will be removed per YouTube CEO. Panic. Yeah, I would say they're panicking. Okay, now let's take a look at this. And I don't think we need to read this in its entirety, because we've just kind of looked at it already. So, but it says, head of House Intelligence Committee Adam Schiff demands Google, YouTube, Twitter step up their authoritative censorship and silencing. Look at those eyes. What is wrong? Is that caused by drugs? Somebody told me that it's like from, methamphetamines. I don't know, but I've never seen anybody. And I've seen his eyes look normal too. So it's weird. It's creepy, really. On Thursday, Representative Adam Schiff, the most dishonest. Okay, we already read that as part of the post. I don't think we need to go into this, actually. We've seen all this, and it's just reiterating that. It's more or less telling us where this information came from. All right, well, let's go back. And I'm going to move this forward in case we need to reference it again. All right, now let's go on to the next one. And we are on drop 4016, 4016 again, still on the 30th of April. We had a heck of a lot to cover on that day, apparently. So this is how far back does the CIA and FBI corruption go? Was the DNC hacked by Russia? CIA, Brennan, Force, Seth Rich, intern, DL hand-to-hand pass USA. I'm thinking of what DL stands for. Anyway, it'll come to me. CrowdStrike code insert. If FBI chain of command was corrupt, what other investigations were corrupted? They all were. If the chain of command in the FBI was corrupt, then any investigation that they were over during the time that those people were in power is corrupt. It needs to be looked at. That only makes sense. What other investigations were corrupted? All of them. All. Any that they, they had a hand in. Who did they provide cover for? How far back did it go? Q. Now, Lisa Mae Crowley says FBI covered for Hillary Rodham Clinton, Lynch bribed with SCOTUS seat to make email investigation go away, DNC servers never examined by the FBI, and why? Well, we know why, but CrowdStrike made it look like Russian hack. Seth Rich downloaded DNC emails to WikiLeaks. Dems used MS-13 to kill 187 is kill Seth Rich. He was murdered by the MS-13 hitman. Internal. Oh, okay, yeah. Seth Rich, internal download instead of a hand-to-hand passed USA. Okay, and that's what it was. It was an internal download. Nobody, no foreign government hacked those emails at all. Does that spoon interest you? Not you. I'm sure you're not interested in this spoon. But apparently, my cat thinks it's the most fascinating thing. All right, let's go on, because we can. And this is interesting as well. These are 3 previous Q posts from April 4th, 2018. Seth Rich, MS-13, 187. And this, it just goes back to earlier data drops by Q. And over here, what agency has direct ties to major drug cartels? And again, this is all about Seth Rich. Who can be eliminated after the job is complete? Seth Rich. Who was found dead? Shortly after his murder. Oh, 2 of them, and that was the MS-13 guys that killed Seth Rich, were also found dead, not far from there. What affiliation did they have? And over here, Russia did not penetrate the DNC server. It was an internal download release, CrowdStrike manipulation of source. CrowdStrike made it look like Russia had hacked. It never happened. And we all know that now. We all know that Seth Rich downloaded it. That's how the information got out. And he handed it to WikiLeaks. All right. And this is the same post, except Q has put it in because he's wanting us to know that we are to ignore the typo in his previous drop. He says error was ×2. He made 2 typos in the following post, and he said on the move Q. So he's just letting us know, as he always does, because he has told us that everything matters, even misspellings. Everything matters. Everything has meaning. Everything has purpose. So and I did notice that there was typos in the last memo, but I also knew that he was going to correct it in the next post. And if he doesn't correct them, then that's when people start looking at it and thinking, okay, what does this mean? What is he trying to tell us? Because they do matter unless he corrects it later on and says, oh, you know, I'm on the move, or that was a typo, what have you. And Dio Presso Liber, Seth Rich provided the internal downloaded hard drive to who? USA being DOJ, or to Assange? Assange passed it to US military, probably. Brennan has CrowdStrike insert code to make it appear Russia hacked DNC. I asked this question last night. How many other FBI investigations are corrupt? How far does it go back? 50, 60 years? Well, if these people, whoever's been in charge, for those, like if some of these people like Brennan, I'm not sure how long he has been in politics or what have you, but they need to go back. They need to go back. I don't know how they're going to have the manpower to do all that, but who knows what injustices have been served because of these crooked men. All right. Now, again, this is 4018, and this is a meme, and it's called In It Together. And I like this picture. I've always liked this picture, and that is pretty self-explanatory. So we are on to the next, and we are on drop 4019 4019, video mashup of Nancy Pelosi's extreme hypocrisy regarding Tara Reade versus Christine Blasey Ford. Now, we looked at this in one of my last videos that we were not discussing Q, and I didn't know that Q would use this, but I think probably not everybody that is listening now was listening then. So I think I should probably play it again, and I think I will do that for the sake of those that haven't heard it. Now, this is it says, here's a mashup of Nancy Pelosi responding to a question about Tara Reade compared to how she handled Christine Blasey Ford, two-door Ford. You'll know which ones are which. Oh, yes, you will. So this is 2 minutes and 49 seconds, and we're going to listen to it.
On Justice Kavanaugh, when a very similar allegation came out on him.
Well, let me just say, I respect your question, and I don't need a lecture or a speech.
Yeah, you do.
To show our respect for all women who have a case, have it respected, for due process, to investigate, to find the truth, not fear it. Here's the thing. I have complete respect for the whole Me Too movement. I have 4 daughters and 1 son, and there's a lot of excitement around the idea that women will be heard and be listened to. But what's happening here has lifetime impacts. The crimes themselves, the allegations that have been made are about offenses that have a lifetime impact. There is also due process, and the fact that Joe Biden is Joe Biden. There is an allegation made against a person. An allegation, as I said before, that has lifetime impact on a person to be violated in that way by a person who wants a lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court. There's been statements from his campaign, or not his campaign, but his former employees who ran his offices and the rest, that there was never any record of this. Instead of asking questions, the Republican leadership fears the truth. There was never any record, and that nobody ever came forward, or nobody... Really? They're so afraid of the truth, and they're so afraid of a woman, Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, for the truth that she will tell. I am so proud. The happiest day for me this week was to support Joe Biden for President of the United States. I joined Leader Schumer and calling for Judge Kavanaugh to withdraw his name from consideration. He's a person of great integrity, a great concern for the American people. The Judiciary Committee and the Senate decide to go forward. They have to know that they are having a demoralizing impact and a chilling effect on the entire movement of courageous women who are telling their stories and demanding justice. He authored the Violence Against Women Act when he was the chair of the Judiciary Committee in the 90s. So there are 2 equities to be weighed. One equity is the integrity of the Supreme Court. The other equity to be weighed is the respect that we have for women when they come forward.
Oh my gosh, I have a hard time listening to her. But boy, the tone and everything is so different when she was accusing, and she did basically accuse, Brett Kavanaugh, who was a good man. And notice the difference between the 2 men, how they reacted. Kavanaugh was so upset and just almost shaking and visibly upset about these allegations because it was so unfair. It was so unwarranted. It was so unheard of. And you can tell, I mean, to me, even people that weren't that, people that really are more on the Democrat side looked at that and said, okay, that's an innocent man. It was pretty obvious to me. So anyway, but then you have Joe Biden, and he wasn't like that at all. He wasn't like, well, what? Like, you know, all outraged and shaking and upset. No, because he knows. I mean, she is probably one of hundreds that he has abused in that way. We've watched him on camera sniffing people's hair, feeling young children, like putting his hands like you know, where they shouldn't be on people as they are, you know, being photographed. And I know people have said, oh, well, he wouldn't have done that right out in the open. Nah, that's the best place to do it, hidden in plain sight. Anyway, let's go back here, and we are still only on the 30th. Okay, and again, we're on the 30th. This is drop 4020. Fire Chris Hayes trends after MSNBC host covers Biden sexual assault allegations. Isn't that interesting? And it says, we've got a link here, and we're going to go out and look to that. And it says, when they can no longer control you, they remove you. Control the narrative, control of you. The news is fake. The war is real. Q. So why did they want to fire Chris Hayes? Because he wasn't controllable anymore. He was vacillating from the narrative that he was supposed to be sticking to. So yeah, fire Chris Hayes trends after MSNBC host covers Biden's sexual assault allegations. And it says MSNBC host Chris Hayes sparked backlash. Hang on here, all this stuff that pops up, it drives me crazy. MSNBC host Chris Hayes sparked backlash from the left when he became the first primetime host on the network to cover a former aide's sexual assault allegations against presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden, with the hashtag #FireChrisHayes trending on Twitter. The All-In host welcomed New York Magazine's Rebecca Traister to the program Wednesday night after she penned an essay titled "The Biden Trap" that was critical of the former vice president for not addressing Tara Reade's allegations in any interviews, thereby leaving Democratic women supporting his candidacy to answer questions about the allegations for him. Biden has conducted dozens of national and local interviews in recent weeks, but has yet to be asked about the allegations. His campaign denied the allegations in a statement on March 28th. Yeah, and that was not enough to have his party, or what did I just read here? His campaign, I'm sorry. It just flew right out of my head there. What this is creating is a kind of perfect storm where the women who are being asked to support his opponent are now being asked to answer for these charges, Traister told Hayes, in part because of the vacuum created by Joe Biden, who is not yet really directly answering these questions, and certainly not doing what I wish he would, which is to say, please direct your questions about these allegations to me and not the women that are out there offering their support to my candidacy. The man in question, the nominee, the former vice president, is going to have to address them, Hayes argued, and not have former Democratic Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams or anyone else, or Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, do that for him, basically. She told CNN's Don Lemon on Tuesday night that she believed Biden was citing a New York Times investigation written earlier this month before more corroboration of Reade's allegations was reported. The New York Times did a deep investigation, and they found that the accusation was not credible. Well, of course they would, wouldn't they? I believe Joe Biden, she said. Well, I don't. No, I've seen his hands everywhere. I mean, he just doesn't even have control of his own hands. Not when a child's around, a female child. The Times later pushed back on the assertion it had cleared Biden of any wrongdoing. Our investigation made no conclusion either way, a Times spokesperson said in a Wednesday statement. Several journalists praised Hayes for covering the story while knowing the potential for backlash from some on the left. Yeah, that did take a great deal of bravery. Now, we're not going to read through all of these tweets. I think that we have got the gist of that. Okay. Let's go back. And it says, we know mainstream media believes it's their job to tell us what to think. Is pushback genuine or planned to lend credence to their ploy of supporting Biden and dismissing Reid until the last minute when they replace him as Democratic candidate? Of course, that would make complete sense if that was their game. And this is a game. It's a game. They want to win at all costs because remember what Hillary said, if he wins, we'll all swing from nooses. She knows. She knew that they'd all be found out if Trump got in, and she's right. She was right. Okay, and down here, Dio Presso Lieber says, Chris Hayes left the Democrat reservation and actually covered the Biden sexual assault allegations. Amazing the things that Jack will let trend on Twitter. Do you really think thousands are calling for his resignation because he asked about Biden's sex assault? No, I don't think that's why. I think that it's trending because they want it to trend. What is the big deal? He was doing his job in asking about that. But, of course, we know that journalists are no longer allowed to be journalists. They are meant to be parrots now. That's it. They don't want true journalists anymore. Not in the mainstream, anyway. Okay, and 4021, POTUS has seen intelligence that the CV originated from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And we've got this tweet right here. It's John Roberts, and he says, Donald Trump says he has seen intelligence that gives him a high degree of confidence that the CV originated from the Wuhan Institute of Virology, though he would not go into detail. I can't say, which is what he said because I did watch that press conference. I generally do try to catch all of them. Q says... Q links to that and then says, think signals intelligent, think CIA, think double agents. China thought they eliminated all in-country assets. Some things are better left untold. And then it says COV, meaning some things are better left untold. Public, regarding the virus, public truths of some events force wars. So if the truth were known of the events, and that's why he said I can't say, it might force a war. World War III, prevent. That's what he's trying to do by avoiding that question. He's trying to prevent World War III. Then he says, hello, Feinstein. Q. All right, now what is he talking about here when it says... China thought they eliminated all in-country assets. What does he mean by that? In-country assets, meaning CIA assets. And remember that whole story about the China CIA spies. And that's what we're going to look at now through the link that Q left us. Killing CIA informants, China crippled U.S. spying operations. All right, Washington, the Chinese government systematically dismantled CIA spying operations in the country starting in 2010, killing or imprisoning more than a dozen sources over 2 years and crippling intelligence gathering there for years afterward. Current and former American officials described the intelligence breach as one of the worst in decades. It set off a scramble in Washington's intelligence and law enforcement agencies to contain the fallout, but investigators were bitterly divided over the cause. Some were convinced that a mole within the CIA had betrayed the United States. Others believed that Chinese had hacked the covert system the CIA used to communicate with its foreign sources. Years later, that debate remains unresolved, but there's no disagreement about the damage. From the final weeks of 2010 through the end of 2012, according to former American officials, the Chinese killed at least a dozen of the CIA sources. According to 3 of the officials, one was shot in front of his colleagues in the courtyard of a government building, a message to others who might have been working for the CIA. Still others were put in jail All told, the Chinese killed or imprisoned 18 to 20 of the CIA's sources in China, according to 2 former senior American officials, effectively unraveling a network that has taken years to build. Addressing the fallout from an exposed spy operation can be difficult, but the episode was considered particularly damaging. The number of American assets lost in China, officials said, rivaled those lost in the Soviet Union and Russia during the betrayals of both Aldrich Ames and Robert Hansen, formerly of the CIA and FBI, who divulged intelligence operations to Moscow for years. All right. Says, let me see here, because remember there was something about it being the fault of Hillary and the special access programs that got these agents killed. And I don't know, it doesn't obviously say anything about that here. And I'm not going to read down through all of this because it's much too long and we have much too far to go. But I do believe that that was the case. And we have looked at this in the past, and Q has visited it in the past. So let's go back here. And this is Lisa May Crowley. Our assets in China, who they believe work for them, are double agents for U.S. signals intelligence. Indicates a virus came from Wuhan Institute of Virology. China thought they killed all spies exposed via Hillary Rodham Clinton's sale of SAP. Okay, so I was right about that because I do remember that it was actually Hillary. We think she's bad for Benghazi. Well, she also got CIA agents killed. So, but obviously there are double agents there. So there you go, and all indications point to the virus coming from the Wuhan lab, which really any logical person would come to that conclusion. There are very few of those kind of labs in the world, and the fact that it's so close to a breakout should tell everyone something about it. But you know how once it gets over here, it gets into the media, and again, all the confusion starts because you hear different things from different people and you don't know what to believe anymore. I happen to believe it came from that lab. All right, and this drop 4022, and it says POTUS has seen intelligence that, okay, this is just a repost of drop 4021, and then beneath that, he elaborates, Q elaborates, and he says matters of national security. Q, now, Dio Presso Liber says part of selling out the U.S. involved Hillary Clinton allowing China to access her State Department top secret files, which provided China with top secret military tech and identified our spies' assets working with us in China. China went on a killing spree and claimed to have courtesy of signals intelligence. Thank you to our patriots at the NSA Gov for their outstanding work. Let's also not forget the good patriots in the CIA who love our country and continue to spy and risk their lives for us. Yes, most of the CIA was corrupted, but there are still patriots serving as analysts and spies. Double agents also reference to the double agents we have had working in our government, primarily in the Dem Party for too many years. Think Feinstein, Hussein, Strzok, Jarrett, Huma, on and on. So, all right. And we are on to the next, which we are still on April 30th. My gosh, I only thought I had one post. I was very wrong. But we've got a long way to go tonight, but we're going to get there. Okay, now this is drop 4023. 4023, mainstream media refuses to cover massive story about the FBI malfeasance regarding Flynn. Well, gee, that's a surprise. No, it isn't. And this is the link that he has he wants us to look at, I've clipped it out for us, Rona McDaniel, yesterday a massive story broke about FBI malfeasance at the dawn of Donald Trump's administration. How many times did the mainstream media mention it during their morning shows? CNN, 0. CBS, 0. ABC, 0. NBC, 0. MSNBC, 0. Unreal. Well, they are the enemy of the people. They are, after all, fake news. They don't give us the news that is actually the news. They give us, and they're not even giving us, even the news that they give us is slanted so much, you can't trust it. And Lisa Mae Crowley says, of course, they don't want their audience to know how corrupt the FBI was in setting up General Flynn. They all get their marching orders from the same 6 corporations. MSM is the propaganda arm of the DNC. Time to bust them up via antitrust laws or RICO. Absolutely. Okay. And again, we're still on the 30th. My gosh, is it ever going to end? Maybe not. Okay, we are on drop 4024. 4024. The public must see the truth for themselves. And it says sometimes you can't tell the public the truth. You must show them. A deeply entrenched enemy who controls the vast majority of communications is only defeated by game theory. Q. Public is getting to see firsthand what mainstream media is and is not reporting via POTUS daily appearances at task force updates and White House press pools after POTUS meetings. They are exposing, defeating themselves while the whole world is watching. Isn't that the truth? 6 corporations control the media. That is why Q mentioned several months ago if they tried to publish the evidence showing Hussein was a pedo traitor, the fake news would cover up. Q and POTUS have been slowly exposing the deep state and spoon-feeding the public. You are watching a movie. I have a feeling there are more people on the left playing a role to avoid the death penalty. I have that same feeling. All right, and my gosh, let me see how far this goes and see if I should break it up even further. Yeah, it's we're already past an hour, so I'm going to have to break it there. I'm going to break it there, and I'm going to pick up exactly where I left off in the next video. And let's see, we are leaving off at drop 4024. 4024. I'm going to get this uploaded and I'm going to do the next video, and I guess what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep going until the time's up. Then whatever's left over I'll make a 3rd video for. I hope that sounds okay to you guys, and I will see you back here. I'm going to get this uploaded and immediately start recording again, so I will see you guys hopefully soon. All right. Okay, guys, you stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and keep seeking truth. Absolutely.